From across the tri-states, this is KHQA This Morning. It's your news now.
622, welcome back to KHQA This Morning. We're going to chat now live via Skype with Yount from Watchdog.org, who is in Springfield this morning. Lots going on this week in Illinois politics to talk about. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Chetty. A very busy week, and we ended with what I think is going to be an even bigger story next year. ADM going to Chicago, not a real surprise. I think most people expected they would be there. They did not get the state tax credits to do so. So one, Decatur doesn't get 500 jobs. And two, there's now a soured mood on this idea of tax credits. I think legislation is going to change next year. I've had one lawmaker tell me ADM may be the last company to get this kind of offer.
Really? So that will be interesting to watch. Also, you got something on Medicaid this morning.
Yeah, this is really not a good deal for anybody who is really truly needy and needs Medicaid, or the rest of us in the state who pay $13 billion a year for Medicaid. The governor's office has signed a deal with AFSCME, the state's largest public employee union, to essentially fire the private company that had found 40% of the people in Medicaid don't belong there. There's a lot of back and forth over this. Essentially, this company in finding people from out of state, people who didn't qualify for income. But the union sued, saying those jobs should be state jobs. Now the state is going to pay more to hire more state workers than it would this private company. Just a big problem, but it raises the question of this governor had angered the public employee union so much with pension reform. Is this kind of a payback? We're headed into an election year where the governor's going to need money, it looks like, to take on Bruce Rauner. Lots of questions here, none of this good. And it doesn't get to the heart of the problem that 2.7 million people in Illinois are on Medicaid, and we don't know how many of those people really need to be on the system.
Interesting. Also, speaking of the election year and Governor Quinn, he also, this morning we had wants to raise the minimum wage. Is this another thing that's just kind of a political fodder because it is an election year, or is this something he's truly adamant about?
He pulls this out every year. The governor does believe in a higher minimum wage, despite studies that say it may not help low-wage earners. But this is part of the Christmas media blitz. Guys like me at the State House, we're taking next week off, so the governor getting some stories out there to talk about next week. He wants to do it, and Pat Quinn really believes it. The legislature, not so sure. Small businesses, this is one of the problems they have. They say, listen, it's either going to be a higher minimum wage or more jobs. Illinois has a high unemployment rate already. I don't think anybody in this state wants to do something that's going to cost jobs.
Absolutely. All right, Ben, thanks so much for your time. And since you are off next week, have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in 2014.
You too, and a Happy New Year.
Thanks. We'll see you in 2014, Ben.